How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a new Legend of Elements video. I've come again to tell you a little bit about builds in this game, and I have gotten some recommendations about some builds which are working really well for the Swordsman class, which is the one that I am playing at the moment. So, going over to the skills class over here, of course, just playing the Swordsman class, you can find yourself your current setup. And I already talked about it in a previous video, but if you are really lost and you do not know if your build is good enough, this game offers you a really simple way of checking out if you have some good DPS. And let me tell you, in this game, it's all about getting that DPS in a meter just to be as high as possible, right? So the way you check that is real quick gonna be going over to here where you have your AFK income, and then just make sure you go over here to the left and you will be finding your DPS meter, right? Your DPS panel. Now you can just keep on rerunning this, and I haven't really maxed out for the day anyways, but you can just keep on checking this, and if you do any changes to your build, you will be able to check it out real quick how good is it by clicking on the battle function here, the choose source, right? It's going to be starting a simulation where you're going to be doing just DPS, right? Just damage, and it's going to be measuring if you're going to be doing a big damage, like good damage, or if it's going to be worse, right? So if you switch your build, you can just go ahead in here, check it out and see what number you get, and that's going to be telling you, oh well, this switch was for the best or this switch was for the worst, right? So today I'm going to be just letting you know about a build that I was told that is really damn good, and we're going to be just checking out and see what if it's easy to assemble or what is it going to be about, right? So let's get into it. Now, a little clarification I want to be making is that the number you see right here is the historical max DPS, meaning that is the top you reach. If you, of course, reach the top and then go down, because it is damage over time, it's going to be going down once your burst is finished. Of course, the number that you see at the end of the trial is going to be lower. But anyways, you are looking to make sure that your DPS is as high as possible with this whole metric, right? So you do not really care about this number right here. You care about the number that you see at the end of the trial, which is the overall just DPS, right? So just real quick, going back to the skills, you can go ahead and check out what skill builds are decent for your class. And by decent, I mean not the best, but good enough. And at least if you do not know what you're doing with your skills, checking out the recommended loadout panel, which is going to be down here in the bottom left right here, just above where you change your class, you will be able to see builds for your current stage level, right? So if you're an adept, you will be able to get yourself this main core skill, but once you go to adept, you're going to be having access to the next core skill, right? So you are going to be able to access a whole newer range of skills, and this is going to be the build recommended for yourself as a master. Now you can also go ahead and check out the daily trending builds, and these are builds from people who are playing the same class as you, who are just really high up there, right? Ideally, these are going to be usually whales or people who are just really high-end players with very high skills and usually very high amounts of power, and you're going to be able to just go ahead and copy their builds if you so desire. This is a way of checking out different popular builds which are going on right now and seeing, well, how good is this one compared to this one, right? They usually are going to be the same one as the recommended loadouts, but they don't have to be just that, right? It can be a little bit more complex, or maybe there is one which is really worth checking out and checking out how much DPS you get with that one in particular, because remember, this also depends on your skill level and progression in general. So if your skills are not that high level or that high star level, maybe this build is not going to be the best one for you because you just don't have the best upgrades for those skills in particular, and you might want to be switching to something else, right? But usually you don't really want to be switching that much your build around, at least not that I know of right now. Maybe for PvP you want to be switching to one thing, maybe for PvE another one, but in general you just want to be making sure you have a decent build which has a decent amount of max DPS. And when I first started playing this game, I had a terrible build, man. Let me just tell you, I was using a build which was so damn bad that when I switched to it, I went from 4 million max DPS to 34 million, right? I've been telling this a couple times already in other videos, where just by choosing that recommended loadout, I was able to get myself out of the mud and actually get a proper build that was working, right? It makes a massive difference. So today, we're going to be checking out a build which uses not the recommended loadout, but something else entirely, and it also comes together with the different spirits you want to be using, right? So let's get into it. So a subscriber of mine told me about the following build that he was using, which got his DPS skyrocketing, right? He is currently doing 900 million DPS, right? We're talking a whole lot of damage, and he also is playing the Swordsman class, right? So what is he using? He's telling me he's using Wind Fist. Then he's also currently using, what is it? A Demon Flame. Okay, so it is the Wind Fist, Demon Flame, and Lore Horn, if I'm not mistaken over here. Let me just real quick check. Yeah, it is Wind Fist, which is this one, of course, right here. It's a rare one, which is not gonna be that easy to get. And the next two I don't have. It is gonna be Demon Flame, which also I do not have. And the last one I actually do have, which is Lorehorn, which if we just check out real quick a little bit right here, it is going to be this one, right? So another rare one. It's 3 rare characters, which are going to be taking a little bit more to be able to get. But if you do have them, that is a very damn good build, at least for Spirit's sake. Now, he's also telling me that regarding skills, he's using the recommended loadout for the, what's it called? Skills that are recommended for the beginner set, meaning that he is using the adept set, just like straight up just this. Now you might see that most people over here are also just using that. I'm not really entirely too sure, and we could maybe go ahead and do a test, right? So let's just real quick switch over to the master recommended loadout. And it might just be because you do not have most of the skills leveled up particularly high, but let's just go ahead real quick and switch to that and see how much DPS we can currently do with this build, just to make sure we have a little bit of just a comparison, right? So let's see what's gonna happen. Last time we did, I don't know, I think it was like a max DPS of about 450 million, and as you can see, this one is pretty crappy. So far, I haven't even been able to reach like 200 million, I think, and my overall damage is just not really peaking much higher than that. Maybe I'm approaching to like 200 million overall, but that is definitely not good, right? So you want to be sticking with the beginner recommended set of skills. That is going to be the simplest, most strong recommendation I can give you. This build seems to be ramping up over time, but really doesn't compare at all to the other build, right? So let me just go ahead real quick and switch back to what I was already using, which I did choose to switch to this one, just for the sake of it. But if we go ahead and use the recommended one for the adepts, just go ahead and switch to that. And then again, go over, and let's just repeat this test real quick, just to see what the difference is. Let's just see what my damage is once again, right? So as you can see, the difference is massive, guys. It is insane. As you can see right here, we're going to be reaching a much higher top DPS. You can see 458 million, and the overall long term is what's really want to be mattering, which we want to be making sure we are at least over the 200 million, which we just had with the previous build we tested out. So we are at 420 right now, 415, definitely a lot higher than the previous build. So yeah, the beginner recommended build is good enough. Now I'm real quick going to be checking out the other one that I was using, and we ended up at like 419. That is a lot. Okay, 419, that is the point we want to be comparing to. And we will be going over here real quick again and switching to the daily recommended build, which is just a little bit of a difference right here. We have 2 skills, I think that they are different, and I do have a little bit of levels on them, right? So might not be too bad for me, but I'm going to be running this one last time and just making sure we gotta be beating those 419 million, so we know what the best build we can afford right now is going to be like. And as you can see, the top DPS with this build is a lot higher. God damn, that was 674, was it? Jeez, but we need to be making sure we beat the overall DPS of 420, right? So with the skill setup that I currently have, I am beating, and I think I'm most definitely beating the recommended loadout. So if we want to be making sure you copy this one out, these skills are better. However, the recommended the skills, or rather the spirits that got recommended by me to me from Beware of the channel, actually are probably a little bit better than the ones that we have on the basic spirit setup, right? Now, we do not have an easy to switch way for spirits, but you do also have recommended loadouts, right? So if you are at a specific point in the game, you will be able to just see yourself the different builds you have at your recommendation. So I'm using the beginner lineup, but if you are a little bit further down, you will be able to unlock 4 or eventually even 5 spirits. So there is different loadouts which have different synergies for those recommendations. So we have over here the damage boost build, the speed and crit build, and then we also have the more advanced lineup, but only for 3 of the spirits, and then crit focus build for 3 spirits, HP regen build, and crowd control build, right? So yeah, you also have a bit of a guide over here if you just want to be finding out decent enough setups, but the one build that was recommended by the viewer is also definitely worth checking out. I cannot put it in place right now because I don't have all the ones that I want to be showing you guys, but by the way, real quick, just saying, it's very easy to switch between spirits, and you can do so at 0 cost, but just going over here, clicking the little spiral button, and then it's going to be refunding all the things you spent onto any spirits. So you can just put it onto somebody else and make sure you test them out, right? So this game really offers a very easy way of switching builds, testing them out, and making sure you're working out what's best for you. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you're going to be spending out any amount of money in Legend of Elements, you want to be making sure you do so through Aptoide. It's going to be allowing yourself to get yourself massive bonuses that can go from extra 10% of any amount of money you're spending, all the way up to extra 35% of that much money. Just whenever you buy things, you're going to be getting those cashbacks, which you can in turn go ahead and use to buy things for you without actually using your real money, right? Pretty plain and simple, really easy to set up. There's going to be a link down there in the description explaining how to set the whole thing up on your Android devices. Also works on a BlueStack simulator, for example, on the PCs, just like I'm using right now. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and use my code on Aptoide if you want to be helping the channel out. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. See you, everybody.